Welcome. Welcome to the last session in Module 1. The title of the session is Current and Future Trends. Current and Future Trends in Engineering actually. Current and Future Trends. One of the important aspects of engineering is that engineer learns some methods and skills which he cannot acquire just by study. He has to practice and learn by experience. So engineer learns in three different ways: by getting a degree, that means he studies for it and he gets a degree. But degree is not enough. He has to practice. He has to practice. Remember, engineering is a skill. Engineering is a skill, and engineering is all about problem solving. Problem solving is also a skill. So he has to practice. Otherwise, if you don't practice, maybe you are going to suffer. You are going to suffer. So you need to practice. You continue to practice. You continue to practice what you learned. And then by experience, everything is not present in textbooks. Everything is not present in textbooks. Okay. So he has to learn certain things by experience only. And usually engineering solutions will have conflicting requirements. Conflicting requirements to be satisfied. Suppose you have to build a product, say a smartphone. So you have to build a smartphone which is highly effective, efficient, and also the cost should be less, and it should also look good. That means these are all conflicting requirements. So if more performance has to be put into that smartphone, then automatically cost increases. If you try to reduce the cost, automatically you may not be in a position to put some certain good things in a smartphone. It will be less efficient. So there will be always conflicting requirements, and there will be always trade-offs. Engineers utilize materials and forces of nature. The material chosen depends on the requirements, availability, and cost. Cost matters. Definitely cost matters. Particularly in a country like India, cost is very important. Only two things run in India actually. One is caste, the other one is cost. So the materials chosen depends on the requirements. So what you want to do exactly, and then whether they are available or not, that's also important. So material doesn't mean just some hard material, raw materials, etc. But material can be humans also. Okay, material refers to humans also. And then the cost. How much budget you have. So all these are to be taken into consideration. So whatever engineer does, it is for the betterment of human life. But at the same instant of time, you should be environmental conscious. Whatever you do, it should not affect environment in a drastic way. That's very, very important. It should not affect environment in a drastic way. Engineer has to collaborate with many people. So you cannot do everything. On your own. So here, engineer, you have to collaborate. With others. So basically, collaborates with craftsmen, technicians, technologists. And technologists. So craftsman comes first. They will have a particular skill. Technicians, they will have general knowledge of their skill. And then technocrats, they have many skills. And then engineer. So he has to collaborate with all the people. Suppose you go to a lab in an engineering college, you can find these technicians, etc. So though we don't differentiate much between these technologists or technocrats and engineers, but technicians are different people. And you maybe in rare circumstances you find craftsmen in an engineering field, but they're also required. They're also required. Suppose a car diagram has to be drawn. A car diagram has to be drawn. Suppose a company wants to create a new car, a new model which looks very very good. Then it is the craftsmen. It is the craftsmen who are going to draw the drawings. So we have to collaborate as engineers. We have to collaborate with other people. The role of engineer itself has changed over the years. At present, we are more of a technologist rather than engineers. So rather than engineers, we are more of a technologist. We are extensively making use of the technology, and we can be called as the engineering students nowadays can be called as technologists rather than engineers. Engineering is more theoretical. If you consider the difference between what is engineering and technology. So engineering is more of theoretical and mathematical in nature. More of theoretical and mathematical in nature. Whereas if you consider technology, it is more process oriented and practical in nature. Process oriented and practical in nature. There are different branches of engineering. So the list is given there. Okay, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics and communication engineering, computer science and engineering, chemical engineering, aeronautical engineering, etc. The list is extensive. The list is extensive, and again within these engineering fields, there will be what are called as specializations. Suppose if you take computer science engineering, you have artificial intelligence, data science, Internet of Things, etc. So there are different specializations. So the importance of specializations is also increasing at a rapid rate. An engineer may choose to do different things after obtaining the degree. He can become a researcher. That means he can continue the study and he can become a researcher. He can become an academician. That means he can become a lecturer, professor. An employee in a corporate company. You can go and work in a factory or company. And you can be entrepreneur also. So most of the people at present are trying to become an employee in a corporate company. So that is the preferred one. So everybody is looking for a job. Students select their colleges based on the placement opportunities. But be careful. Be careful. So you can become an academician also, or you can become a separate researcher also. So usually even in academic profession there will be some research, but it is not it is not extensive. You don't concentrate totally on research. You will be concentrating more on lecturing, teaching, but you have to do research. Also. So entrepreneur. So this is the current trend, and maybe it is expected to be the future. Okay, it is expected to be the future. So probably if some of your relatives or maybe your parents or your grandparents are government employees or maybe private employees also. So if you ask them, they might have done service for 25 years, 30 years, and some people may have done that service for 40 years. That means in the same job, they continued for 30, 40 years. It's not going to happen. Not happening in other countries at present also. In India also, it's not possible now. You may have to change the jobs. And we are moving towards what is called as crowdsourcing. Remember this point, this word, crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing means you have a problem, and you post it in some website. There are specific websites also. You post it in the website. Anybody who can solve it will contact you, and you give them the contract. They will solve it for you. So that's why the many companies, rather than getting the employees, they are looking for people who can work with them for a contract. So it is going to continue. Everybody should have entrepreneur skills. So whether you become an entrepreneur or not doesn't matter. Please try to have entrepreneur skills. It is going to be the future. Don't neglect. More thought is being given in many countries for engineers to take professions like law, medicine, and management. May not be in India, but in many countries, engineers are taking other professions also, like law, medicine, and management. Why? So nowadays we are looking for specialists. Suppose you purchase a product, you purchase a machine, there is a defect in the machine, and you go to the court, and lawyer has to argue on your behalf. So if he has to argue, definitely he should know law, but at the same time he should have knowledge about that machine also. He should be an engineer also. So an engineer and person who did law, he can argue effectively. So this is the trend that is taking place. But in India it is not happening, but definitely it is going to happen. And you require knowledge from multiple disciplines. If you are computer science engineer, it doesn't mean that you learn only about computer science. You require electronics part, electrical part, and then mechanical, maybe sometimes civil part also. Never know. So as we discussed earlier, so you are not going to continue in the same job for 30-40 years. Not possible. An attempt is being made in India also and other countries to permit students of different disciplines to take up the professions of medicine and engineering. At present, suppose in AP, if you want to do engineering, you should study MPC. If you want to do medicine, you have to study BPC. But recently, AICTE and UGC try to violate that one in the sense that they want to permit BPC students to do engineering. They want to permit engineering students also, the MPC students also do medicine. They want to actually permit, though there is a lot of discussion, debate going on, but it already happened in many countries. So logically it may not be correct, but if you think like this, there will be different perspective. If you think like this, it appears that it is okay. At intermediate level, you may not be knowing what you want to do, actually what you want to become. At the tender age, you are going to choose either MPC or BPC, highly influenced by your friends, maybe parents also. So later you decide that you are not fit for it. You may assume that you are good in mathematics, but after studying intermediate, you may feel that you are not good in mathematics. Okay, and in BPC also, you may not be good in botany, zoology, you may not be interested in it. But unfortunately, you are not permitted to change your track or path. So you should be permitted. There should be some kind of something like bridge courses, and then you should be able to do. So that trend may have come in India after maybe 2-3 years. By 2030, it will be implemented. You can watch for it. So lifetime employment is a thing of yesterday, as we discussed earlier. So you may have to change careers often. So be prepared. There is a direct mapping between engineers and people. This is one of the beauty. There is a direct mapping between engineer and people. That means people and engineers get benefited together. People and engineer get benefited together. If you take doctors, lawyers, so when do you go to the doctor? When do you go to a doctor? If you are sick, you are going to go to a doctor. Similarly, whenever there is a conflict, you go to a lawyer. That means when you are suffering, you approach a doctor or lawyer. But if you consider engineer, when you go for an engineer, for example, you want to construct a house and you have a lot of money, you want to have your own shelter, so you want to get benefited, so you go to an engineer. So engineer gets benefited, you also get benefited. So there are no standard registered associations for engineers. There are some associations like Institute of Engineers, ISTE, IEEE, etc. But there are no standard registered associations. So in India, it is not mandatory to register with an association. But doctors, lawyers should definitely register with the associations. And they have big lobbying. They can lobby with the government because they have the associations, the bodies are there, they're very strong. So the authors of the book, Introduction to Engineering, describes ethics as, so you should have ethics. Definitely you are going to study a subject on ethics, professional ethics, or with some other name. But you need to have ethics. So ethics is the study of morality of human actions. It is the science of determining values in human conduct and of deciding what ought to be done in different circumstances and situations. So ethics should control the human actions, or human action should be under the control of the ethics. So if you don't have ethics, you may end up doing something which is not beneficial to the mankind, but it is harmful to the mankind. So you should be always environmental conscious, and also whatever work you do, it should be beneficial to the mankind. So if you are more interested, you can refer to this National Society of Professional Engineers. There you can find list of ethics. And so engineers have to use the resources of nature economically. There are many trade-offs. As we discussed earlier. There will be trade-offs: cost, efficiency, effectiveness, quality, all have to be considered together, and there will be always trade-offs. That means you have to balance. So cost, for example, cost, quality, and safety. So knowledge is not enough to solve all problems. New problems may come up in the future. So you may think that why you require new knowledge, or why you have to be a learner. Please remember that new problems are going to come. So as engineer, you have to solve problems, not exercises. You cannot predict the problems of the future. You have to prepare yourself. You have to practice, you have to experience, and you should be a continuous learner. Engineering is all about problem solving. So you are going to solve problems. In majority of the cases, the problems solved are not simple yes/no type. So the problems will not be of yes/no type. Okay. The problem itself may be ill-defined. That means not correctly defined. Or you want to do something, you want to develop a product for the benefit of some customers. Customers may not be in a position to explain what they actually require. In most of these circumstances, it is true. So if you are on your own, if you want to develop a product for customers, The main problem is getting the exact customer requirements. Exact customer requirements. That is very, very difficult. Even for the companies, manufacturing companies, the problem is finding what the customer actually wants. Finding what the customer actually wants. It's a difficult one. Very, very difficult one. But you should be able to get the appropriate customer requirements, develop some prototype, show it to the customer, and proceed further. And moreover, in some circumstances, so customer may not know the requirements, or customer requirements may change in the future. Okay, he clearly defines what he requires, but in future, after a few months, his requirements may change. You don't have control over the changing requirements. So there will be always scope for improvement. There will be always scope for improvement. And whenever you get the requirements for the customer, get them in an explicit form. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. So get the requirements in an explicit form. Okay, that is very, very important. And you also require knowledge from different fields. Because most of the problems are interdisciplinary in nature. Interdisciplinary in nature. Sometimes you may develop a product or process which may be good, but is a market failure. Again, it is actually related to entrepreneurship. So you may develop a product. Okay, it's a very good one, but there is no market for it. Nobody is interested in buying it. Don't think that if it is fantastic, everybody is going to buy it. Most of the cases, it's not true. Suppose you develop a rocket. You develop a rocket which takes all the people round the space. Now what happens? So many people may not be interested in it. So they may have fear complex. They don't want to go into the space. So for them, their life is more valuable. And because of the fear complex, they may not accept it. Even if you do it free of cost. Some people may not accept it. Suppose if you take corona vaccine, okay, it is good, fine. But many people try to escape. They have their own reasons. Some people may not believe in it. Some people think that you get a lot of side effects. Side effects may come in the future. Some people think that they are not effective. They cannot prevent coronavirus. So then why should I take vaccine? So there will be different kinds of arguments. So always, as an engineer, if you really want to become an entrepreneur particularly, or you go to higher levels in a factory or company, you should bother about the market. Market comes first. That means customers. Is there a customer? Is there a paying customer? Potential customer? Then only you should develop that product or process. So best way is develop a prototype. That means some working model. Develop the prototype. Get the feedback, improve it like that. So Industry 4.0, we are in Industry 4.0, era of Industry 4.0. It started with Industry 1.0, and Industry 5.0 also exists. We are moving towards actually Industry 5.0. You can see here the branch which contributed and the major inventions. If you consider Industry 1.0, so the main contribution of Industry 1.0, that means this Industry 1.0, you can say some 20 years, and then 2.0 some 20 years, like that. So not exactly 20 years, some may go up to 50 years, some may be 20 years. I'm not mentioning the period here. I'm not mentioning the period. But the main contribution, the first major contribution of engineers was wheel. That was the contribution of mechanical engineers, and also this steam engine. Next came Industry 2.0, where the major contribution is electricity. Now, because of electricity, so power has come to the houses. Trains started running using electricity. Many machines started using electricity. Next, Industry 3.0, where the major role was played by electronics engineers, communication engineers, and also computer science engineers. So the main contributions are transistor, integrated circuit. You can say they are purely electronic components, and then computer, internet, and World Wide Web. So these are the major contributions of Industry 3.0. Computer, internet, World Wide Web. Next came Industry 4.0. We can say at present we are in Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is about cyber physical systems. And here nobody is a king. Everybody requires a computer, everybody requires internet, everybody requires World Wide Web, everybody requires electricity. Okay. Not property of one specific engineer. So everybody requires cyber physical systems. That means the physical systems, the machines are controlled over the internet. You will be accessing that machine over the internet. You will not be going and switching it on and then putting the raw material, etc. So you will be controlling everything from a distant place, from a remote place, over the internet. So smart factories. So we are looking forward for the smart factories. Here and there smart factories do exist, but future will be smart factories. So smart factories requires again everybody. So we are moving towards interdisciplinary courses only. Or a person should have knowledge of all the fields. Of course, experts are required, but general knowledge of all the fields is also required. So Industry 4.0 adds human touch to the cyber physical systems, which are totally under the control of machines. So Industry 4.0 is expected to add what is called as human touch. For example, designing the customized products for end users. So if you take smartphones, etc., so you will see all are in the form of rectangles. With various thickness. But maybe I am not interested in it. I want smartphone in the form of say circle, like something like a ball. I want something like a scale. So these requirements are going to come and you have to customize. Industry 5.0 will help you in doing it. So this is all about these current and future trends, and we discussed this module 1. We started with science, mathematics, engineering and technology. Next we discussed about integration of science, mathematics, engineering and technology, and then how engineering has evolved over the years. And then in this we discussed about the current trends, the principles of engineering, and also the future direction in which we are moving. So this is regarding module 1. So best of luck for you for the next module. Thank you.